I'm 39 years old. I'm saying the number because I've just reached an age where I've begun thinking twice about saying it out loud, wondering if it's irresponsible information to share. If it's similar to telling someone you voted for Donald Trump or sort of didn't mind when Will Smith did the slap. It irrevocably changes the way people look at you. To be crystal clear, I've never voted for Donald Trump. But I did sort of think it was fine when Will Smith did the slap. Not because I liked seeing someone get hit, but because I just appreciated the unambiguous demonstration of how many of us are simply unwell. But with regards to my being 39, I would like to think sharing my age doesn't change the way people look at me, but I know that's not true. One of the reasons I know it's not true is I've recently gotten into Survivor. I'd never seen an episode because it came out during the time in my life when I was only allowed to watch one TV show a week, and I chose Seventh Heaven. But a couple years ago, I decided to check it out, and I have a couple observations. Number one, it's always good. I'm glad I finally watched it. And number two, the way contestants treat anybody over the age of 30 makes our cultural attitudes towards aging painfully clear. There's a woman on this season of Survivor who's nearly 60 years old, and part of her strategy has been lying and telling people she's 45. The chilling thing to me is everyone believes her. One person heard this lie and sincerely responded, "You look great." To people on Survivor who, as far as I'm concerned, are a good representation of the people in America, 45 is so old, it might as well look like 60. I'm at a little bit of a pivot point in my age. Part of how I know this is that people are no longer going out of their way to tell me that I look older than I am. This used to happen to me a lot. When I was a senior in high school, I was once walking out of my English class and another student mistook me for the substitute teacher. Another time when I was 21, I went into a liquor store with my boyfriend and the lady told me that my son would have to wait in the car. I have always looked and carried myself like a woman in my 30s. I was born with the energy of someone who knows where the bathrooms are. So I've spent most of my life kind of just catching up to that spiritual age. And now, as I'm just on the edge of leaving my 30s, I'm entering an unknown. I'm at the age where if this was a biopic, we'd be swapping out the actors. We're wrapping out 30s, can play younger, and now we're looking to cast someone who will look believable in a gray wig and eventually a hospital bed. But here's the thing, I don't actually feel that turning 40 is old. And in fact, I generally think that the idea that 40 is old is a capitalist-driven lie designed to make people buy lotion and spend all their time worrying about where they part their hair instead of paying attention to climate change. Still, I keep calling myself old. Every time I use the tap function on a credit card reader, I yell to the store that I'm old as I press my credit card aimlessly around every nearby surface like I'm trying to use it to clean up a spill. Why am I spending so much time saying something I do not actually believe about myself? I think it's because I'm trying to express something a little more complicated. I think I'm trying to express a variety of feelings, and the easiest, most efficient way to do it is to just say I'm old and be done with it. I think one of the things I actually mean when I say I'm old is please don't make fun of me. My sensibility and reference base actually sort of makes sense for the time in which I came of age. I like Vampire Weekend. My workout playlist has both Sorry from Beyonce's Lemonade album and Sorry from when Justin Bieber was apologizing to Selena Gomez. Sometimes I tentatively say it's giving, and then I get self-conscious and remember in the early 2000s when my mom integrated the words mad and ass into her vocabulary and said things like, "Be careful, the steps are mad ass slippery." But because everyone's age in LA is visually ambiguous, I think it's important for people to have a little context so they can understand why I behave this way, why I like emails so much, and why I learned about Chapel Roan from the New York Times. Another thing that I mean when I say I'm old is that my relationship to reality has changed. Before my 30s, everything was theoretical. Most of my adult life existed in the future, in my imagination. And when I thought about the milestones ahead of me, I mostly imagined that I would be rich and famous enough that they would all be easy. When I thought about having a wedding, I assumed my husband and I would be rich and famous so we could pay for everyone to do it on a boat, likely going down the Nile. Because I heard Katy Perry did that for her 30th. When I thought about buying a house, I figured I'd be rich and famous, so I'd simply choose a house, and the major decision would be, do I want it to have a lot of plants or a lot of books? I don't really like brushing my teeth. I try to do it twice a day. I usually manage once, and now that I work from home, some days it's just not happening at all. And in my 20s, I was not concerned about this even a little. My genuine plan, which I shared with anyone who would listen, was to ride my teeth hard, and when they got too nasty, just buy new ones. Today, the idea of buying new teeth really stresses me out. Part of it is the cost, but also like you just have to find a good person. And then you have to choose new teeth that are not like such an upgrade that you'll forever look like a stranger to those who know and love you. I just find the logistics exhausting. I'd rather brush my teeth than do all the comparison shopping, not to mention trying to schedule a dental surgery around all of my important Zoom meetings. I just would rather not spend the time. And I think that's another thing that I actually mean when I say I'm old. I think I'm trying to express a change in my relationship to time. Not a huge one. I don't want to be dramatic and claim that my time is running out. It's not. But I'm becoming just slightly aware that I'm closer to the middle than the beginning. If my life is one of those fat paperbacks, I'm just getting to the part where holding the book is a little easier because there's like roughly the same number of pages on each side. So it's hard not to be aware of the fact that the end of the book, while not exactly close, is in sight. And in another 100 pages or so, I'll be doing that thing where you read slow because you don't want the book to end. Or maybe I'll be doing that thing where you read fast because you have horrible arthritis and the world is 200 degrees and out of water, so those who are rich enough lie down in little pods and take hydration pills. I don't know, we're just gonna have to see. But in my more optimistic moments, I'm feeling compelled to savor that middle of the book, to read a little slow, to take the mundane challenges and the big fears and the small moments of delight and try to enjoy them as part of a story that will not last forever. The main effect of this is I go on a lot of walks and now I like birds. Actually, I really love birds. I can't identify any of them, but I just like watching them kind of do their thing. I love watching those dusty little guys who hop around underneath any table with crumbs. I love those parrots who fly around Pasadena who everyone hates because they're noisy. And I love crows. I watched one eating a rat outside my window once. I sat there for almost 45 minutes just watching it pick all the meat off of this rat's bones until the rat was nothing but a spine and a tail, and the crow flew off with it like a piece of spaghetti. Birds are fucking cool. They're not thinking about where they've been or where they're going or how fucking old they are. A lot of them are small, and other than the crows, pretty vulnerable. And thanks to our cell towers, I'm sure their flight paths are all getting fucked up, so who knows where they're going. But watching them kind of just be birds, be in the moment, bouncing around, or just demolishing a rat, helps me to slow down. It helps me to sink into this middle. It helps me to be a little more in the moment. And this love of birds, this desire to look at them, I will say, is one thing that I think sincerely does mean I am actually old. Thank you.